This is the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, BOUNDMOTOR's latest and greatest 2-in-1 electric skateboard fitted with CNC machine hubs, 1500 watt motors, and a forged carbon fiber deck. This might be the most beautiful electric skateboard I've ever laid eyes upon, but does it really hold up to its price tag? I'll be giving you everything you need to know if the BOUNDMOTOR Flash is actually worth it and if it can handle today's fierce competition. What's going on YouTube? It's DRUMARR back at it again with another video, and here I am today with the BOUNDMOTOR Flash. Now I've been riding this board for about a month now, and I've been testing it out so I can make a comprehensive review for you guys. If you guys do appreciate this content, you can always leave a like down below. It really does help the channel. Now let's get into the review. The BOUNDMOTOR Flash is a forged one-piece fully carbon fiber deck, making for a very stiff ride. It has very coarse grip tape covering up to the edge of the board. Since the forged carbon fiber is underneath the grip tape, this part of the deck shines when the light hits it. This deck is shorter in the middle and has a wide area for your feet to stand on. And the deck flares of this board are at the perfect angle to allow you to lock into all those aggressive turns you'll be making. The deck has a cutout in the back for the motor cables to come out of. And it looks like it has a hole in the front for this as well, maybe for a 4-wheel drive version, but it has not been released yet. Who knows? And it also has a gigantic cutout for the ESC to be cooled by the passive wind. So the width that you can place your feet at is 26 inches on the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, and on my Hurricane it is actually 28 inches. So my feet do feel a little bit closer together, so that's something to keep in mind if you do prefer a wider stance. Also fitted onto the deck are these absolutely gorgeous looking anti-sink plates on the front, and on the back it actually shows your battery percentage, which is connected to the ESC, so we'll talk about that later. The powerhouse of the BOUNDMOTOR Flash is its 6368 170 kV 1500 watt dual belt drive motors. Just to put this into comparison, my Meeple Hurricane back here has 3500 watt motors, and the acceleration between these two feels almost identical. That basically means that you can't put a torque or a speed range based on the watts of a motor. Just so that you guys know, I will be doing a speed test and a comparison between the Hurricane and the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, so please leave a like and a comment if you guys want to see that. Just like I was saying before, the acceleration on the BOUNDMOTOR Flash is powerful enough to sweep you off your feet. Now, connected to its dual belt driven motors, it's using 150 CNC machined pneumatic wheels. Now this is actually a new iteration. If you guys have seen other BOUNDMOTOR Flash videos, they did not come with this new CNC machine wheel. It makes it look absolutely amazing and really does bring the Flash feel to this board. These wheels are small enough to give you the torque that you're looking for, but at the same time provide you with that high class comfort that pneumatics can provide. Meaning that you can basically take this thing anywhere, on the street, on the sidewalks, you can go all terrain. They're just basically really good all around wheels. The best part is, if you like to do more off-roading and more all terrain, you can always put on different bigger wheels onto this board. This is my first VESC-based ESC, which is highly different when it comes to Hobbywing and Lingyi ESCs. To put this in perspective, the VESC software is basically open source, which means that you can download it on your computer and you can edit and control all of the curves, which I'll go ahead and break them down for you on how I feel about that. So everything that I say right now can be completely changed in the Windows app. This is just how BOUNDMOTOR has it set up for the Flash right when you get it outside of the box. So Hobbywing is basically known for very smooth controls. When you accelerate a little bit on the throttle, it goes and gradually increases. So in terms of the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, when I try to accelerate gradually, it kind of accelerates you very aggressively. Another thing is, if you want to keep your speed at a constant speed, the BOUNDMOTOR Flash doesn't really do that. If you decide to grab the remote and hold it at a constant speed without moving it, the BOUNDMOTOR Flash will continue to accelerate regardless of you even putting in any input. Another thing is, if you're going really fast on the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, and let's say you're on a higher speed mode and you decide to give it just a little bit of power, it will accelerate you really aggressively sometimes to the point where you're not really expecting it. So if I inputted just a little bit of power, I feel a really big push. So basically while I'm riding, I'm only using a very little area of the remote to control the board, because if I use any more, it's just gonna accelerate me to the max. And I can basically say the same thing with braking. If I pull the remote down enough, it will brake with the full amount of force, and you can feel the actual tires locking up, which can make you skid and fall off if you're braking in a turn. So it might be that I'm not just used to the VESC ESC at the moment, and I'm very used to Hobbywing and Lingy ESCs. It might just be that the VESC ESC unlocks the max potential of the skateboard and that you can accelerate it to the max pretty much always. So that's why I tend to ride this board in the low to medium mode, so that way I can have a lot more finer control. If I want to accelerate a little bit more aggressively, I can still do that. Even on the low mode, it doesn't have a speed cap, so you can still go to the max top speed on low mode, but you'll have more control over your acceleration, and that's the mode that I prefer to stay in. Another thing is, every time you turn on the remote, it does reset to the high mode, so you do need to be conscious and aware that you are setting it back down to the low mode before you start your ride. Another thing is, if the board is at a complete stop, it will start to roll backwards very slowly. This feels kind of impractical. It feels like it's only going 1 mile per hour backwards, which doesn't really help you that much. I'd rather that it stop completely if I'm at a hill or if I'm at a stoplight, so that way the board isn't just rolling wherever it wants to roll. So one great thing about this ESC is that it actually has a battery meter on the back truck, which means that you can actually get a glance of the battery level of the board just by looking behind you. And it really does make this board look a lot cooler. A major downside though is that if you're standing on the board, the battery meter is actually backwards. So it kind of makes a lot more sense that if you're going to be looking at the battery meter, you're going to be standing on the board rather than looking at the board from a distance. All these things are just slight little nitpicks that I see with the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, and I'd rather let you know than keep it to myself. All these things can be adjusted and edited, like your speed curves and your braking curves, inside of the Windows software. And does this by any means make the BOUNDMOTOR Flash worse? No, it doesn't. It just means that if you're used to other electric skateboards, you'll need to get used to it at first. The more that I ride it, the more fun that extra acceleration is. So the battery is using a 19.2 amp hour 12S4P Panasonic battery at 830 watt hours. Now, this battery is absolutely ginormous. The Hurricane's battery is only at 725 watts, and I can easily get 20 to 22 miles of range on that thing with gigantic pneumatic wheels. So I can only imagine the range that I can get with the BOUNDMOTOR Flash. I haven't even gotten to the point where I ran out of battery before the ride ended, because the Hurricane ran out of battery before the BOUNDMOTOR Flash did. But like I always say, if you guys want a range test on the BOUNDMOTOR Flash, just leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can make it happen. Now, one thing about this battery though, when you're reaching the top speed of the electric skateboard, you can kind of feel it to start sagging a little bit. If you're already at the max speed and you try to accelerate, the board will not accelerate you anymore. So that is something to keep in mind. You kind of feel a speed cap when you're going faster. Now, who is the BOUNDMOTOR Flash for? Do you need a really comfortable and stable ride? Do you need a fast, accelerating, high top speed electric skateboard to bring you up those hills and bring you speeding down those roadways? Do you want to be able to switch to street wheels and switch back to pneumatics? Maybe switch to knobby tires to be able to change to your different terrains? Do you need something that's going to last you a very long time with extremely high build quality? Do you want something that you can ultimately tweak down the road, where you can plug it into the app and change every single braking curve, speed curve, acceleration curve to your exact likings? Do you not want to wait 150 days for your electric skateboard to get to your house with 3 to 7 day shipping time? Do you want a $50 off coupon code? Use DRUMARR. And do you want an absolutely gigantic battery to be able to take you anywhere that you need? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then I'm pretty sure the BOUNDMOTOR Flash is for you. It is retailing right now at $1,799, and you can get it right down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you BOUNDMOTOR Flash for allowing me to review your newest electric skateboard. Stay tuned guys, because I will be doing more acceleration tests and speed tests between the BOUNDMOTOR Flash and the BOUNDMOTOR Hurricane. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.